Good morning, my dear friends. As part of my seminars practices, so today I would like to take a class is on like genetic counseling. So today's my seminar is on genetic counseling. So first, before going for genetic counseling, first we should know the what do you mean by counseling. Okay, what do you mean by counseling means you all know the what are the what are the things will be going on or what are the steps might be going on in the counseling. Actually, we all know the counseling, right? So genetic counseling. Here the genetic counseling, before going to topic, like let me talk about counseling. Okay. So here the introduction of genetic counseling, or first we'll move on to the counseling, introduction of the counseling as well as the genetic counseling. First we'll see the definition of the counseling. A counseling introduction. In the introduction, see the counseling, it is a process of communicating between two or more persons who meet to solve a problem, resource a cause, or take decision on various matters. It is not a one-way process where in the counseling tells the client what to do, nor it is a forum for presentation of the counselor's value. So here, what do you mean by counseling? Counseling, it is a process. Okay, counseling is a process. Okay, where they'll communicate. Okay, there will be a communication between the two or more people or two or more person. Communication between the two or more person. Okay, who meet to solve a problem. When the problem comes, okay, when the problem occurs in their life, so they may come with the genetic problems. They may come to the counselor. So there will be a communications between may occur two or more people. And why they want to communicate two or more people means to meet to solve a problem, and whichever the curse to resources, and they supposed to, after when the problem comes and they need to give some resources to solve the problem, after that they need to take some decision. So to take a decision on a various matters. So okay, it is not a one way process. So you cannot say that if one counselor gives counselings to the family, it's okay. It's not like that. Even the both should have, okay, both conversation should be there and both like a decision should be happen. So it is not a one way process where in the counseling tells the client what to do not. Okay, even counseling during the counseling, the counselor may says to the client that so this is the not thing, this is you are not supposed to do. So even that should be willing by the to client also. So that is the way. It is not a one way process where the counseling tells the client what to do. It is a forum. Okay, it is a forum for presentation of the counselor's values. Okay, here it is a forum for presentation of the counselor's values. Okay, that is comes under genetic counseling introduction. Okay, then we'll move on to the genetic counseling introduction. So here the genetic counseling, it is a process. Okay, genetic counseling, it is a process where the follows these basic characteristics of a counseling process. It is undertaken with families which is confronted with genetic and inherited disorders. Okay, here what I mean by genetic, which are the genetic disorders are there related to genetic. Okay, whatever the disorders are occur in the people completely related to the genetic or the inherited problems. Okay, based on the problem, so they may consult the counselor. Okay, there they may give the counselings to the people related to the genetic disorders or inherited disorders. It may be one client or it may be a complete family, either like wife and husband. Okay, so that is comes under introduction for the genetic counseling. So Sheldon Reed proposed the terminology genetic counseling in 1949. Okay, in 1949, okay, the scientist name is Sheldon Reed. Sheldon Reed is the scientist. He was the given the name for the he was given the name for the first time, that is genetic counseling in the 1947. Then we'll move on to the definition. Okay, definition of the genetic counseling. Then we'll move on to the definition of the like counseling. Okay, here the definition of the genetic counseling. Okay, we'll move on to the first counseling definition. Here down the second definition. Can you you please focus on the second definition? Okay, Smith 1955 defines counseling. It is a process okay, in which the counselor assists the counselee to make interpretations of facts relating a choice okay, plan or adjustment which the needs to make. Okay, here the Smith in 1955, okay, the Smith in 1955, he given the definition. There are the many meanings are there before that, but he given a clear and a complete meaning for a counseling. The scientist name is Smith. He given the complete definition in 1955. Before the years of, okay, there are the many definitions, there are the many meanings has been given, but clear meaning and complete meaning the given by the Smith in 1955. So it defines counseling. It is a process in which the counselor assists the counselee. Counselor means who is giving the counseling. The counseling means who is receiving the counseling from the counselor. Okay. So here, so always the counselor supposed to assist the counselee to make interpretations, facts relating to choice, plan, adjustment which they needs to make. Wherever the problems occurs related to the genetic problems, either to the child, either to the before the pregnancy, after the pregnancy, or to the mother or to the family member, okay, among the family members, in anyone affected with the genetic problem. So there are the many peoples may are related in this genetic counseling. So if the families comes with these problems, even the families or client also should interpret the facts whichever the counselor is telling, and they need to take a choice, and they need to, after taking the choice, they need to plan according to that, and then they supposed to adjust which needs to make. Okay, that is the Smith given these counseling definition. This we will move on to the genetic counseling definition. Here the American, the first definition, please focus on that. The American Society of Human Genetic define a genetic counseling as a communication process which deals with human problems which are associated with occurrence or the risk of occurrence of a genetic disorder in a family. Those who are suffering with the genetic problems, either the parents, either the family, either the children, okay, who are affected with these risk, who are occurring with this risk, okay. So the problems may be dealt with the counselor, where the genetic counseling is a continuous communication process. Communication process means they will have a communication between two or more people. Okay, there they can take a choices, they can take a plans, and they can take a, they can solve their problems, and they can move on based on the whichever the counselor gives the suggestions. Okay, so here the genetic counseling is a communication process. There we can deal with all the human problems which are completely associated with the genetic disorders. Okay, genetic disorders. That is the definition for the genetic counseling. What are the purpose? What are the purpose for genetic counseling? Here the purpose for the genetic counseling is the genetic counseling may provide concrete, accurate information about inherited disorders. So whatever the inherited means that also the same. Okay, what are the inherited disorders? That genetic disorders or inherited disorders are the same, like Down syndrome, Huntington disease, hemochromatosis. Okay, so these are the there are the many problems have been given in the inherited disorder. So these whatever the inherited disorders are affected with the patient, so based on the problems, based on the inherited disorder, so they'll provide a concrete, accurate information, okay, to the family or parents. Reassurance people who are concerned that their child may inherit a particular disorder, that the disorder will not acquire. Okay, here we need to give reassurance. Okay, we need to give, as a counselor, we need to give reassurance to the people who are completely concerned about their child may be inherited. Okay, it is not affected. Okay, already it's not affected, so they may feel, they may concern. So always they see my child may affected with these problems. Okay, they may have some doubt. So those patients we need to give some reassurance. Okay, then allow people who are affected by inherited disease to make informed choice about future reproduction. Even when the people already affected by the inherited diseases, either maybe hemochromatosis, Down syndrome and all, either already if they affected with these problems, even we need to allow the people to take the choices about their next reproduction. Okay, then they educate the people about inherited disorders and the process of inheritance. Even we need to give health education to the family members or to the people about the inherited disorders, how they may affected. Okay, what are the signs and symptoms, what are the causative factors, everything after the management, everything we need to we need to give the counseling about the complete process of inherited disorders. Then offer support by skilled health care professionals to people who are affected by genetic disorders. So Even not only the counselor, even he need to give some offers to the other healthcare professionals also. Okay, even he can take help from the other healthcare professionals to the people who are affected by the genetic disorder. So that other healthcare professionals also can give counselings to the people who are affected with the genetic disorder. So here they are given like father, mother and baby. Genetic counseling can aid couples in making informed decisions about their pregnancies, because if the father or if the mother, if the any siblings or either like grandparents are affected with the genetic problems, before going for pregnancy they need to have a genetic counseling, okay, to decrease the genetic or inherited problems in the baby. These are the purposes. Then we'll move on to the indications. Okay, indications for the genetic counseling. So what are the indications here? Like it is the first indication is when we need to go for genetic counseling. Whatever the indications, okay, in which situations, in which conditions the people may go for genetic counseling. So here the first indication is if a standard prenatal screening test yields an abnormal test. So prenatal test in the sense that is the alpha fetoprotein. Okay, alpha fetoprotein means it is a test before the pregnancy, like during pregnancy they'll prenatal screening before the pregnancy they'll test the mother, okay, about the fetus. Okay, so here what they will do means they will alpha fetoprotein is there to measure the alpha fetoprotein in the blood. Okay, in the blood only they will take the samples and they will measure the alpha fetoprotein. Okay, when the alpha fetoprotein test, how they need to do, they need to do the prenatal screening test. Based on the prenatal screening test only we can understand the alpha fetoprotein is the normal or not. So what will happen when the prenatal screening test gives abnormal results? Okay, when the prenatal test screening gives abnormal results, then the parents may go for genetic counseling. Then an amniocentesis yields an unexpected results. Okay, what do you mean by amniocentesis? Amniocentesis means this is also one of the tests. So there they can they will remove the amniotic fluid from the uterus for testing. Here they will remove the amniotic fluid from the mother's womb, right, mother's uterus, and they will give they will send that for the testing. Okay, so means we need to know how much amniocentesis has been like presented in the mother's placenta. Okay, so when amniocentesis also gives a unexpected, or when amniocentesis gives an abnormal results, these times also then the people may go for genetic counseling. Okay, because such as chromosomal defect in the unborn baby. How that gives abnormal results means, like sometimes this amniocentesis may shows that there will be a chromosomal defect in the unborn baby. So in those times if you are having any doubt, okay, then you can go for genetic counseling. Then either either parent or close relative has an inheritance disease or birth defect. Either parents already has children with birth defect or genetic disorders. Okay, yeah, the first point is either parent or close relative. Already either parent or either any blood relative have affected with the inherited or genetic problems. In those situations also they can go for genetic counseling. Either parents already, those who are having the childs with the genetic problem or any inherited problems, already if they had the first kid or second kid, if they have the already with the problem of genetic or inherited problems, in those people also they can go for genetic counseling. The mother has had 2 or more miscarriages or a baby dies in infancy. So here already mother had miscarriages or abortions. Okay, if the mother already had 2 or more abortions or miscarriages, in those times also parents may go for genetic counseling. Either baby dies before 1 year. Okay, either baby dies in infancy, there the people also can go for genetic counseling. And next indication is the mother is 35 years of age or over. So if the mother is having a 35 years of age, either like mother is crossed above the 35 years of age, that mother also can go for, means like that when the pregnancy is for the first time at the age of 35. Okay, the mother wants to conceive at the age of 35 or above 35, those candidates, those mothers also can go for genetic counseling. The partner is blood relative, like consanguinities mothers, like blood relatives. If a boy or girl marry a blood relative, like uncle's daughter, auntie's son, like that. So if they are like consanguinities marriages we may call. Okay, if the partner is the blood relative, the people also can go for, because there is the many chances are there to get birth defects or genetic problems if they marry a blood relatives. Okay, So the people that people also can go for a genetic counseling. Next steps in genetic counseling. So what are the steps? Okay, step by step, how can they provide the genetic counselings to the couples, how they will provide the genetic counselings for the families. Okay, the steps of the genetic counseling. So an accurate diagnosis of disorder. Okay, the first we need to have a accurate diagnosis for each disorder. So to get complete and accurate diagnosis, there are the following procedures should be followed. So the first step is we need to get a accurate diagnosis of a particular disorder, particular genetic disorder. If we'll get a accurate diagnosis, based on the diagnosis we can move on to the procedure. So to complete or to get a complete accurate diagnosis, there are the procedures should be followed. Below they given the procedure. First, under the steps we'll move on to the history. Here a proper record of the history of the patient is necessary. History in the sense collection of the history from the families or collection of the history from the couples. Okay, here the first history collection. Here what we need to do means, as a counselor, okay, we need to take history, complete history from the patient. So a proper record of the history of the patient is necessary. Complete history we need to take, all the family history, past history. Okay, everything we need to take from the patients, and we need to record it in the documentation. So that is very necessary for before going for genetic counseling. So the history may includes, okay, the history may includes both present as well as the relevant past history. We need to take present history of the patients, we need to take a past health history of the patient. Then the family history includes siblings and other relatives also. Even the family history, under the family history we need to take any relatives are affected with the genetic or inherited problems, or any siblings are affected with the genetic or inherited problems. We need to take family history also. The kindly note if there is any other person in the family with a similar problems. Okay, the similarly if they are affected with these problems, genetic problems, similar problems are there in the family, if the other person also is affecting with the similar problems, there also we need to note it down. Okay, obstetrical history of include exposure to teratogens, drugs, x-rays in pregnancy, history of abortions or stillbirth if any should be recorded. So obstetrical history also we need to take from the parents, including exposure to during the pregnancy, if they are exposed to any x-rays or they are exposed to any drugs. Okay, that also may leads to birth defects. So that is the thing. So we need to take obstetrical history during the pregnancy, that is they are exposed to any teratogens, either they are exposed to x-rays or they are exposed to drugs and all. We need to take that history also. Then the history of abortions. Okay, any abortions had been happened before that also we need to take. And stillbirth. Okay, stillbirth means what? Loss or death of the baby before or during delivery. Okay, loss of the baby or death of the baby during or before the pregnancy, that is stillbirth. Okay, if anything that all the things are there which had happened in the past, okay, that also we need to record it in the case sheet. Then the inquiry should be made about consanguinity, as it increases the risk, especially in autosomal recessive disorders. Okay, so we need to inquire the parents. Okay, we need to inquire the parents, the marriage or the partners or the consanguinity marriages. Consanguinity, as I said, that if they marry say blood relatives, in Telugu we'll call as manarikam. Okay, if they marry say consanguinities, okay, either blood relatives, if they get married with their blood relatives, that way may give a more chances of birth defects, genetic or inherited problems may occur. Okay, which is especially there is a high risk for autosomal recessive disorders. Autosomal recessive disorders means there are the sickle cell anemia, cystic fibrosis. There are the many autosomal recessive disorders are there. Huntington's disease. These are all the autosomal recessive disorders. Okay, if the people are getting married with their consanguinities, okay, blood relatives, there is a high chances of getting autosomal recessive disorders. Okay, birth defects also had happened. Then the pedigree charting. Pedigree charting, you all have idea, right? Okay, pedigree charting. After taking history in the family, we'll make a one chart. Okay, pedigree chart. At a glance, okay, here at a glance, this offers in a concise manner the state of disorder in family. Glance in the sense, take a brief note. Okay, take a brief glance in the sense, briefly we need to take. Okay, that when we are taking the brief history from the people, that may offer in a concise manner of the state of disorder in a family. So constructing a pedigree with proper interrogation, though time consuming, but is ultimately rewarding, it forms an indispensable step towards counseling. So see, pedigree charts may helpful to the counseling through in the counseling very well. How means that may be by interrogating the people about the past history, family history, about their consanguinities history, about their present history, everything. After taking any birth defects, any abnormal any abortions, any miscarriages, stillbirth, okay, all the things, it may take some time to draw the pedigree chart. It may take sometimes time consuming, but it may give good results while providing a genetic counseling. Okay, the estimation of risk. What is the estimation of the risk? Okay, it forms one of the most important aspect of genetic counseling. It is often called recurrence risk. To estimate it, one requires to take into account following points. Okay, here the estimation of risk is it forms one of the most important aspect of genetic counseling. So the estimation of risk is it is the most important aspect in genetic counseling. So we need to see, after taking the history, after doing the pedigree chart, completing the pedigree chart and all, we can estimate the risk of the people, how far they are having the risk of these problems. Okay, so it is very important aspect for the genetic counseling. Estimation of the risk is most important aspect in the genetic counseling. So, okay, it is often called recurrence risk, estimation risk or recurrence risk. To estimate, one requires to take into account, okay, if we want to estimate the risk about their problem, about their diseases or disorders, okay, we need we need to take into account. So there are the following steps are there to estimate the risk of the problem. Okay, if we want to estimate the risk of the problem, there are the points has been given below. Okay, the first one is mode of inheritance. What is the mode of inheritance? Then analysis of pedigree or family tree. Okay, we need to, after drawing the pedigree or family tree, we need to analyze everything, okay, one by one. Then results of various tests, okay, either the test of alpha fetoprotein or amniocentesis. Okay, these are the tests, how the tests are given the results. Okay, so these are the methods we can by mode of inheritance and analysis of pedigree or family tree and results of various tests and all, by observing or by checking these all those things, we can estimate the risk of the problem. Then the transmitting information, how can we transmit the informations to the people? Okay, after completing the diagnosis, pedigree charting and estimation of risk, the next most important step is communicating the information to the consultants. Okay, those who came for the counseling. Okay, consultants means those who came for the counseling. Okay, the couple or the family members or partners. Okay, before they want to go for pregnancy. Okay, partners, father or mother or the parents, either family members. Okay, so the first we need to take the diagnosis, and the next one is pedigree charting, and next one is estimation of risk. After completion of these, the next foremost important step is we need to communicate that information, whichever the information we have gathered, whichever the information we, after taking information or after completing diagnosis, pedigree charting and estimation of risk, the finalization of the results, we need to communicate or we need to transmit the information to the people, those who came for the counseling. So the important functions involves various factors such as, first we need to, while transmitting the information to the people, the end result, okay, the final results, if we want to inform the people, the steps, the factors, various factors which may involve. Okay, the first one is we need to know the psychology of the patient. Okay, we need to check the psychology of the patient. Then the emotional stress under prevailing circumstances. Okay, even we need to know the emotional stress under prevailing circumstances and attitude of family members towards the patients. Okay, then the first one is we need to, when we want to provide some counselings to the people or transmitting the information to the people, first we need to check their psychology of the patient. Next we need to know the emotional stress under any prevailing circumstances, how their emotional stress. Okay, then the attitude of family members towards the patients, how their attitude. Okay, the barren mother, if she is not giving birth, either after the delivery also, maybe the mother is getting after pregnancy, during pregnancy there are abortions may occur, so they'll have some attitudes, right? Now why it's happened, so they may criticize her. So how the attitude towards the patients, that also is important.
The educational, social, financial background of the family, that also important. Gaining confidence of consultants in subconferences meeting during follow-up. So after providing meetings also, after providing programs, after giving counseling also, how the patient, how much the patient is gaining confidence, okay, by counseling, that also is important. Ethical, moral, legal implications which are involved in the process. And above all, communication skills to transmit facts in the effective manner is making them more acceptable and palatable. Even above all, a communication skills is most important to transmit the facts or effective manner is very important to the counselor, to the if we want to inform these information, or if we want to communicate these all the information to the people, that is very important. Okay, so the management, that all the transmitting the information, if we want to transmit the information to the consultants, or if we want to transmit the information to the family members about these problems, and after finalizing, if we want to transmit the information, these are the factors which may involve. Okay, everything he need to check. Okay, because suddenly if we'll say that there is a problem, so you should not go for pregnancy, so you should not deliver the baby, or this may comes to the lifelong, so the people's emotional stress, okay, that maybe goes to the depression, and also that is the why each and every candidate, they need to, like, before providing a final report to the, before giving a final report to the people about the counseling, so they need to, as a counselor, we need to check all everything whichever the factors are influencing. Okay, then the management for this, in genetics, a treatment implies a very limited scope. It naturally aims for prevention rather than the cure. So the most important management is prevention is better than the cure. Okay, so in fact, for most of the genetic disorders, cure is unknown. So we all know that if the people are affected with the genetic defects or genetic problems, cure is not possible. Okay, so that is very that is the known fact for everyone. So the treatment is therefore directed towards minimizing the damage by early detection and preventing further irreversible damage. So that is the what. So after once, if the mother given birth to a genetic defect baby, that is very problematic. So lifelong the baby may be like that only. If that may be Huntington, it may be Down syndrome, it may be physically handicapped, or it may be sickle cell anemia, cystic fibrosis, or hemochromatosis, whatever the depth genetic problems or genetic disorders had occurred to the baby. So after the delivery, that is very problematic. Lifelong they need to get suffer. So that is the what. So before going for that problems, or before facing that situations and all, so before conceiving a baby, or before delivering a baby, before conceiving, okay, the couples may need to go for a genetic counseling. Either they need to check their family history also, either any people are affected with these problems, 100% they supposed to go for genetic counseling, because okay, already we all know that there is no treatment for the genetic defect. So that is the what we need to do means, we need to minimize the damage from the baby, and we need to, by doing, how can we minimize the damage means by early detection, early diagnosis, as well as the after early diagnosis, even we can prevent the further irreversible damage also. Okay, for example, in PKU in the sense, here they given one example like phenylketonuria, it is a birth defect, it is a genetic disorder. Phenylketonuria also one of the genetic disorder. Okay, here there will be a birth defect, means due to genetics only, gene, there is abnormal gene may be produced in this. Okay, how it will happen means, actually in the phenylene is a one enzyme. Okay, phenylene is a one enzyme. What will happen means here, so actually in the normal, the amino acid supposed to build up the body. Okay, in the phenylene there is a amino acid should be there to build up the body. Okay, here what will happen means, in the phenylene, so the disorder is characterized by a deficiency of phenylalanine hydroxylase enzyme, which is necessary for the conversion of phenylalanine to tyrosine. Actually, the phenylalanine should be there in the body. Why should be there in the body means, phenylalanine is a amino acids to build up the body. Okay, because so in the presence of the neurotransmitters, okay, there are the neurotransmitters also helpful to the enzymes to convert phenylene into the tyrosine. So what will happen in the phenylketonuria? This is the birth defect means. So here what will happen means, when there is a deficiency of these enzyme, the enzyme name is phenylalanine hydroxylase enzyme. So what will happen here, the phenylalanine hydroxylase enzyme may be deficient, means there is a missing of this enzyme. When there is a missing of this enzyme, what will happen? Automatically there is no conversion occur in the phenylalanine. So there is no conversion. If there is no conversion, this phenylalanine cannot converted into tyrosines. Tyrosine should be there. Okay, these phenylalanine should be converted into tyrosine. After conversion of the tyrosine, only the tyrosine will become build up the body. So if there is no tyrosine, so what will happen? Automatically the phenylalanine will be presented in the body itself. So that is the why what will happen. So there is a deficiency occur in the phenylalanine hydroxylase enzyme. Okay, there are the neurotransmitters also may helpful in these with these enzymes that are like epinephrine, norepinephrine and dopamine. Okay, so when there is these enzyme missing, what will happen? Automatically the people may have a deficiency of phenylalanine hydroxylase enzyme. If this enzyme is missing, automatically there is no conversion into tyrosine. There is no conversion of phenylalanine into tyrosine. If there is no conversion, automatically there is a defect may occur to the people, because there is no build up. There is no amino acids to build up, right? So okay, that is the what will happen. There is a babies may have these type of birth defects. Okay, that is the example. So that is the way early detection and preventing is the must before going for pregnancy. Okay, then the application of genetic counseling. How can we apply application of genetic counseling happen means, genetic counselor work with people concerned about the risk of an inherited disease or condition. These people represent several different populations. Okay, application of genetic counseling means genetic counselor. Okay, there are the not only the other counselors. So for genetics also supposed to be there the counselor, that we call as genetic counselor. These people may work with the these genetic counselors work with the people about why they want to work with the people means, they will know about the risk of the inherited or genetic diseases or any conditions. Okay, these people may see, when the genetic counselors work with the other people may know about the causes, genetic factors, diseases, inherited diseases or other conditions or abnormalities in the gene. Everything they may get the information, and the information the people may pass that information to the different population. Okay, if 10 members knows this information, they may provide to the 20 to 100 like that. So the information passed to the all the different population. Prenatal genetic counseling. Prenatal means before the delivery of the baby. Okay, before the delivery of the baby, prenatal genetic counseling. There are several different reasons of a person, okay, or a couple may seek prenatal genetic counseling. If a woman of age 35 or old and pregnant, then there is an increased chance that her fetus may have a change in the number of chromosomes present. Changes in chromosomes number may lead to mental retardation and birth defect. So prenatal genetic counseling. So before the delivery, the parents supposed to go for genetic counseling. So here what will happen in the prenatal means before the pregnancy. So what will happen means, these are the before the delivery, before the pregnancy. So what will happen means, there are the several different reasons are there for a person or a couple to seek a prenatal genetic counseling. So for example, if a woman crosses a 35 year of age, or that will call as a older pregnancy, okay, then there is an increased chance the fetus may have chances in the number of chromosomes present. So when the mother wants to get pregnancy after 35 years of age, there is a high chances of getting birth defects. Okay, there is a changes in the number of chromosomes. So changes in the chromosomes numbers may lead to mental retardation or birth defects. So that is the why before the 35 years only a mother need to get pregnancy and mother need to give a baby. So if 35 or after the 35 years, if they wants to go for conceive, if they wants to go for babies, that is a high risk of genetic problems a baby can get. Okay, so that is the like mental retardation or birth defects. Okay, prenatal genetic counseling is must and should for a mothers, okay, before going for pregnancy. prenatal tests that are offered during genetic counseling. So what are the prenatal tests that we can offer to the genetic counseling? Like in the during the genetic counseling, if the couples come for prenatal testing, here there are the like level 2 ultrasound. Okay, ultrasound 1 may give for normal candidates, normal pregnant women. Level 2 ultrasound is the major thing. Okay, here they'll give clear description of the genetic problems in the under the ultrasound. Okay, abnormal scan, so here they'll give a clear description of the genetic problems. That is the level 2 ultrasound. Then the maternal serum AFE means alpha fetoprotein test. See, blood sample they may taken and they may go for testing. Okay, maternal serum alpha fetoprotein. The chorionic villi sampling means here this is also a prenatal test. Okay, they will detect the, why they will do this means they will take a sample, a small sample of cells from the chorionic villi. Okay, from the placenta they may take a chorionic villi cells. Okay, small samples of cells they may take from the placenta. That chorionic villi samples they may take from the placenta, and they may this is the prenatal test. Okay, after taking the small sample of chorionic villi from the placenta, and they may go for the testing. So here they want to find out the defect of the birth and genetic disorders or other any problems during the pregnancy. Okay, that is chorionic villi sampling. Then amniocentesis. What do you mean by amniocentesis? They'll take a amniotic fluid from the uterus for testing. Okay, these are the tests during the genetic counseling, prenatal test.